Hello. So, for my Live Binder project, I chose to focus on reading development in elementary students. This topic is very important to me for a few different reasons. Firstly, to give you some context, I am a third grade teacher at a Title I school, and I do teach the inclusion class. When my students got to me, I had 6 out of 17 of my students were able to read. Only 2 of those were reading on grade level. And 11 out of 17 of my students, or 64%, were classified as not reading because they could only read maybe a few, like 3 of their sight words. So, as you can tell, it's very important to me to make sure that my kids are reading before they leave this grade level. So, I really wanted to focus on some research that would help me with that. So, right below, I have listed the references of all of my articles, and I want to just walk through the articles with you and explain why I chose them and kind of what they informed me about. Firstly, reading development from kindergarten to age 18, the role of gender and parental education. This study focused on how big of a role parents having education in reading played on students. And it also really focused on the imbalance between boys and girls in reading education. So this study showed that at an early age, like before pre-K, boys were showing signs of lower reading comprehension, fluency, foundational skills than girls. So it's just very important to note that boys, are starting off possibly behind where the girls are. And I think that was very important for me to know as I looked through my students and analyzed that data. Secondly, text types and their relation to efficacy in beginning reading interventions. This one was really important to me because it talked about the difference in the importance of decodable books or non decodable books. And it had kind of a debate between which was better. In the end, they found out that a mixture of both books were important. I thought that that should be noted because, of course, I'm really working on beginning reading interventions. So I want to know the best type. Third is a chip off the old block. Do reading motivated parents raise reading motivated children? And the answer is yes. If children see that their parents are reading leisurely, or the parents are able to read with their child, the child is more inclined to love reading. I thought that's really important because, of course, I do some homework assignments and just some reading incentive assignments. This month we did reading bingo. So I think it's really relevant to know that if their parents are really encouraging reading, it makes them want to read more. And so I think I can incorporate that in some of the assignments that I send home. Number four, upper elementaries teachers' knowledge of reading comprehension, classroom practice, and student performance in reading comprehension. This just shared that when educators of upper elementary students are educated in reading comprehension strategies and the skills that go along with that, how much higher the students will perform. So it's just very important that I keep myself educated and knowledgeable about what's going on in the world of reading. And then lastly, what we know and need to know about literacy interventions for elementary students with reading difficulties and disabilities, including dyslexia. Of course, this is very important to me as I teach students with IEPs and EIPs. And it basically just told me that we need multi-component reading interventions. So incorporating everything from reading comprehension to foundational skills to vocabulary. Of course, I want any help I can get with reading interventions for my children because I really want the number to move up from 64% of my kids not reading. I really want that to decrease, not go up, so that more of my kids are reading by the end of the school year. So I hope that this kind of explains why it's so important to me. Thank you.